Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and valued colleagues, it is both an honor and privilege to welcome you to this online event titled COP29 and Beyond. This event marks the culmination of an inspiring journey at the COP29 conference in Baku, where global leaders, innovators, and sustainability champions came together to shape the future of our planet. And starting from COP26 in Glasgow, we YESET is covering all these events in an extended program. So we kicked off this program in 12th of November this year with an opening webinar where we kind of make a stock taken analysis, what we have achieved so far, what we are going through, and whether we are achieving anything or not. So we critically went through those topics in our opening webinar with the participation of our distinguished partners. And then we continued with daily progress analysis. Every morning, our economic analysis director were with you, Ayşegül Hanım, about the proceedings of COP, what is happening and what is coming in COP. And these are short programs that attracted your attention in the morning. And our only aim was updating you about what is going on through the COP agenda. Then, like every year, we had sessions in Turkish Pavilion in the COP area. And this year there was two. For one, we were the guest of Presidency Investment Office. The panel was focusing on the FDI aspect of international developments in the climate change agenda. And we also thank them for inviting us. And we were both the moderator and one of the guests. Our board member Selim Bey from Akpa Power was the guest. And then at that day in the afternoon, we had our own session with a focus on energy. Like the global multinational energy companies were our guests, and we discussed what is possible and what should have been done immediately. And we both received very good insights in those meetings about the future of climate change negotiations and companies, especially international companies, assistance and support to achieve those goals. And then finally, we are at the end of this program and we are closing it up with the participation of our dear friends and the company representatives from Aras Kargo and SAP. Barbara, Erdem, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks for the kind invite. It's always pleasure to collaborate in COP. So I think it will be a nice wrap up today.
Thank you very much, Erdem. And since we were together in the last two COPs, we would separately thank you for your in-field participation in the panels also. And let us introduce, like people know you, our audience know you, but let me introduce you a little. Miss Barbara Hagen, the Chief Financial Officer at Aras Kargo Turkey. She's with us. And Barbara, you are bringing an impressive background in finance and strategic leadership. We are really happy to have you in here, and your career merging everything, like starting from Mobilicom Austria. Later, you had senior roles in a Telecom Austria group, A1, and the Austrian Post, where you managed corporate M&A and banking operations. And since 2020, you are here in Aras Kargo, bringing all your expertise to the benefit of your company. It is so nice to have someone with a strong financial focus on this one, because this was a finance COP, and everyone was asking about showing the money. Where is the money coming from, and where will it come? And as I mentioned, Erdem Aksakal, Dr. Erdem Aksakal, who was also with us in Dubai, is the Global Sustainability Marketing Director at SAP. Since joining SAP in 2010, Erdem Bey also took over many posts and various marketing leadership roles across the different regions of the country, of the company. So you have a multidimensional perspective about how a multinational company works that we also benefited when we were in Dubai. And over the past 4 years, you are focusing on promoting SAP's sustainability software solutions globally. So it is the digital aspect, digital innovations aspect, and that is really giving us some hope about what can be achieved just for focusing on innovation. So thank you very much for being with us today. So before proceeding into the questions that we would like to address to you, how can we start by just sharing our 2 cents about what has been done in COP and what are your initial reflections about this COP process and what we have been experiencing so far. And Erdem Bey, if you
I mean, thank you very much for the opportunity. So just returned back a few days ago from Baku. I am a bit optimistic that I see that governments and businesses and civil society, as well as academia or other communities, are pushing at their hardest to make something possible. And if there is not enough progress, there's also reactions. And we hear some of the reactions on the media, but even those reactions are strong signs of the need for progress. So, I mean, we have a lot of parties involved and a few KPIs to be managed. But it's really difficult to maintain all these distinguished expectations, contributions, and collaboration models. But I'm still optimistic that about the vibe in Baku. And I should say that host country Azerbaijan did a good job, even exceeding the expectations in guiding the discussions. So maybe we'll have some time in detail to discuss what happened in COP, but I still keep a strong level of optimism about what has been discussed at COP.
Thank you very much, Erdem. And Barbara, what are your initial feelings about the process?
Look, I think it was super exciting, especially also having this COP in such a location. Yeah, it's also taking everybody on board. Yeah? So taking different perspectives. I think this is always, in the end, the most important part in such a process. Yeah, getting everybody on board, because in the end, this is something we can just solve together. Yeah, it's not something a company can do, a country can do. It's something the world has to do together, because in the end, the climate is all over. So in the end, we need to do this together.
Thank you. And it was extremely crowded, and we personally observed the interest of all countries. All pavilions were full, and sometimes we were even talking that whether the negotiations are going forward or not, the content and professionality in the pavilions are improving. And we really saw the countries attempt to make it better than the previous year always. And we also congratulate the Turkish Pavilion, the Directorate of Climate Change, and our ministry to creating a very nice environment for us to host our guests and show that Turkey is also proceeding in this agenda with its companies. So let us switch to the questions and start with Barbara. Your industry is key and at the center of these negotiations most of the time, because it is logistics. Like if something is going from somewhere to somewhere, you're already involved in this process, and it also plays a key role in sustainability. And as Aras Cargo, would you please elaborate on the key initiatives that you're undertaking to reduce your environmental impact and ensure the sustainability of your supply chain, because you are running a very broad operation?
Thank you, Serkan. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Maybe just a brief heads up about who we are. Yeah, we are in the end delivering about 1 million parcels a day all over Turkey. We are operating with 7,000 people on payroll. In addition, we have in total 16,000 in our network. So a lot of people we have on board who support us delivering our service to, in the end, every door within Turkey. We have a huge fleet, about 5,000 vehicles, and this is in the end the challenge. Yeah? And as Erdem already said, in the end, it's about also the technology. Yeah, it's about the efficiency, what we want to increase over time. And these are, in the end, the reasons why we put all these actions deeply in our strategy. Because if we want to move and become better, we need to put this deeply into the company strategy so that we can see progress. And besides the strategy, it's so important also to get the idea into the heads of the people. That's why we also build like sustainability ambassadors all over the company, within the whole country. We also have like volunteer groups. And within these groups, we do different actions. We, for example, do shore cleanings. Over many, many years, we do this already. We already collected about 4 tons of waste. We do tree planting also with partners. We already planted more than 200,000 trees over the last few years. On top, we try to build awareness with sustainability reports. We already published 2. The first one was in 21, the second one in 23. And what we also do together with partners with energy, so for example, we try to have renewable energy. So all our electricity is sourced by renewable energy. And so we try to tackle this topic from different angles. And as I talked about our huge fleet, I think especially the fleet is within logistics a big topic. So what we started, we call it like a green boardroom in this case is a good example. So we do our last mile with green electric vehicles. So it's a very nice project. It's very much appreciated by the municipalities. It's not only that there's only electricity, so no gas, but on top, we also recognize from a noise perspective, this is super nice for the neighbors of our branches. This was very interesting also for us to detect. We didn't think about it. And so we go on step by step. Every year, we renew more and more of our fleet with electric vehicles. The only thing what is a challenge for us is in the end the line haul. These are the trucks, which go for long distances. Here we still are looking for solutions. What could be done in some countries, we see this already, is HVO, so that you use a different kind of fuel, which has much less footprint. This is something we would like to do. At the moment, unfortunately, not available in Turkey, but these are things we want to implement into our fleet strategy. And on top, especially when we go for renewing our logistics centers, we want to invest in photovoltaic, so produce even our own energy, as we have huge logistics centers with huge roofs. Why not using it? And this is how we do step by step proceed in this matter.
Thank you, Barbara. And I'm sticking to the first point that you raised when we were talking before the panel, like there's a continuous need for the awareness. So whatever we do, we need to keep it at a certain level to sufficiently pump the incoming activities also. And thank you very much for sharing your best practices. Actually, the implementations that are not in Turkey but in the world are brought by our member companies like yours to Turkey, and it is also reshaping the way and the policy that the government is handling the green transition. So these are really important to set up the right incentive programs and set the right legislations so that these best practices can go all over the country. Thank you very much for stating them also. And from logistics, let's switch to digitalization. And SAP is the leader of digital transformation, Erdem. And your company is assisting many companies in Turkey on the how-to aspect of this one. So it is knowing it, being aware of the dangers and what should be done is something, but it is being capable and incorporating those things into how the companies work is another issue. So please share your experiences on how sustainability is embedded in the operations and strategies of the companies that you are helping.
Perfect. Thank you very much for bringing this topic. I mean, I want to go one step back and see what are the mega trends in sustainability. So one is the regulation and compliance is the number one topic. So first of all, globally, there are around 2,000 regulations right now. And yet COP type of conferences are good to unify them, but still there is room for to be a kind of like IFRS type of single source of regulation. So there is still room for this. And many C-level people are feeling the pressure on the sustainability regulations. Second one is the optimization and the process. So, I mean, it's not just the cost optimization, as Barbara mentioned, it's the process optimization, it's the resource optimization, it's the time optimization. So to make it a kind of optimized scenario for sustainable solutions is an issue. Third one is to make it in a kind of growing pace. So we shouldn't be pushing companies or people giving up their core businesses, but they should be continuing their core businesses, whatever their targets are, but doing it a kind of sustainable and innovative way. And last but not least, we see a highly increasing number of diverse personas getting into the sustainability conversations. It's not like a chief sustainability officer or sustainability director topic only. I'm more than happy that we have a CFO, Barbara, here, and it's quite common that CFOs are in this conversation. Not only CFOs, CMOs are there to understand the consumer and brand expectation. CEOs are there to understand the overall sustainable transformation, or chief operating officers are in sustainability conversations to understand how they can innovate within their operations. So in this sense, as SAP, as gathering all these inputs together, of course, we have two heads in the sustainability journey. Number one is being an exemplar. I mean, making our SAP as a net zero company. And we have a journey on this, including the electrical cars, including managing our own data centers with renewable energy, including minimizing our footprint. But our more important head is, as a digital exemplar, we have the capacity and capability to help our customers to run their business in a sustainable pace. And for this, I mean, we say you should record, report, and act. With this three-step journey, first of all, to record sustainability in an accuracy such as we treat carbon like money. I will be quite careful next to sitting as CFO about the money, but I mean, as in organizations, we keep the track of money with a very high precision. Every penny in and out of company's cashier is recorded in the books with zero tolerance. This should be the same for carbon and the plastic waste and water, whatever impact we have on the nature. So carbon is not something that can be managed by approximate numbers. We need to manage carbon with accuracy. And the only way to manage carbon with accuracy is to manage it at the most granular model. If you can manage the footprint or measure the footprint by product, even by component, not in only scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 levels, but you need to make it granular. And then after recording it in this granularity, we should be using our experience coming from the accounting. Companies have an amazing accounting experience since maybe more than 100 years. And especially regulations like IFRS made companies more precise and granular in the accounting books. So after recording the carbon data, we should be integrating into our accounting. And then the management decision comes. We should act. Whatever the action is, it varies by industry, varies by company, varies by region or geography. But every company should write this into their strategy with the bold letters. And I'm happy to hear from a logistics company, from Aras, they are trying to innovate how they can transform their core business, which is logistics. Because we highly see that majority of the companies have some struggle to see their supply chain's footprint. And if the leaders in the industry, like leader logistics companies, have a transparency and visibility in the operations, then this will also enable the other industries. I want to give one example from one of our very valuable Turkish customers. Maybe you can be familiar to them. Martor Phone Park is a company in the automotive industry. They are manufacturing car seats and some textiles in the car design, I can say. And they are using our sustainability products to watch, to track their entire operation from A to Z, integrated with AI, so that with their reporting and their decision making is also enriched by AI, and not only getting the instant carbon or waste numbers, but they are also getting into the action integrated with the AI system, so that they become more efficient, more effective, and more sustainable every day. They say that a sustainable transformation is like quitting the cigarette. I mean, you become richer, you become healthier, and you look better.
These are the very best messages, and thank you very much for pointing out these two aspects, because transparency and accountability were always on the top themes that were discussed under COP. But under this COP, the financial operations and logistics aspect of it was really highlighted in most of the meetings, and we heard it from the financiers and we heard it from the large-scale logistic operators. So thank you very much for bringing them up. And at this point, before going to the second round, maybe it is beneficial to talk a little bit about the two important issues that came out of COP, the new collective quantified goal on climate finance. As most of our followers remember, the initial target, the previous target was 100 billion US dollars per year, but we reached those targets at the end of the term, not we continuously reached to $100 million of financing to secure green operations and that are going to support the climate change. Now it is at 300 billion US dollars scale. But since our collective underperforming, the annual need is 1.3 trillion US dollars annually. And it's sometimes people are getting under the impression that whatever we do, it is really getting harder for us to cope with. And the good thing is private sector's participation is really important, because $1 trillion of this amount is expected to come from the private sector operations. And whenever we check the FDI inflows and outflows at global scale and in country scale, and their linkages with the investments, renewable energy investments, there was a nice UNCTAD report that they also brought under the attention of all the participants, that 55% of renewable energy investments in the developing countries are coming from international project finance. So the FDI is contributing a lot, and if a country is willing to contribute or go with the pace of the world or beyond it, it is really important for them to attract FDI because the companies have the know-how and the finance allocation ease for their projects. So maybe it is a reminder for us why FDI is also important in reaching our sustainable development goals. And the second aspect was there was a significant milestone at COP29 about the carbon market regulations under the Paris Agreement's Article 6. As Erdem stated, there is much to agree upon, and this was one of the areas. And this is also linked with our expectation to have an emission trading system in Turkey. And we are expecting the climate law to be enacted soon. It is first going to go to the parliament, and then we hope that it is going to be approved by the end of the year. So carbon trading is extremely important, and it's a new trade area that everyone can benefit from. So by just giving these insights about what is being going on, what we were focusing, let us come to the second round then. But Barbara, at this time, we are going to focusing on more social aspect of what you are doing and how you are contributing.
Mhm.
And it was also one of the issues in COP29. The Football Clubs Climate Alliance was established in this one. And you also have a volleyball team, women's volleyball team that you established last year, Aras Kargo Volleyball Club. My question is, how did the team contribute to your sustainable story as Aras Kargo, and what would you do in this regard?
Yeah. Thank you for this question. Yes, it is, as you said, it's ESG is not only about carbon footprint. So it's a lot about social. So, and this action actually goes into this direction. So 1.5 years ago, we established the club. It's actually a Izmir license. So also a very nice coincidence that this was the 100th anniversary. Yeah. So the location is super attractive for us, because also Izmir didn't see a Sultans League club for more than 10 years. So we already gathered a huge fan base. And the beauty of this project is that in the end, it's not only a case for Aras Kargo as the main sponsor, but you see also a very, very nice effect on the employees and on the whole social field around us. Yeah. So we managed to massively increase the employee retention ratio, because in the end, what is more important than having a loyal employee base? Yeah, because the colleagues can also then convey the message we just talked about in the beginning to the field. So this pays a lot into this direction. And also very, very important for us is the opportunity to give women the chance also to show off. Yeah. So it's we deeply also check on the women in leadership ratios within our company. This is also a goal we have in common with our owner, the Austrian Post. So this is also something that is super important to give women a platform. And forward-looking, we also would like to establish like a women's volleyball school. So let's see how it goes. We are very, very young in the Sultans League. It's the first year here. It's quite challenging also, to be honest. Yeah. But yeah, we have big plans with this project, but we already see that it pays off because we have super positive feedback from all over within the company, but also outside. So we keep on going here, and happy also to see you there.
Okay, we will be cheering for you in the games to
Super.
come. Thank you very much for the invitation. And Adam, you pointed out a very important thing in the first aspect, like it is the metrics and reporting. So if you would like to change anything, first you need to be sure about the quality of the data, the quality of the reporting, because they are leading to the actions. How is SAP positioning itself to meet these evolving demands to do these things better?
So, I mean, first of all, companies are already in a digitalization journey for long years, and we are a part in it. And for sustainable digitalization and sustainability, I mean, you don't need another silo of data, because most of the sustainability related data is already in your ERP for the financial targets, for the operational targets, for the efficiency targets. We think that as an ERP-based company, we think that you can use your ERP data and integrate your sustainability solutions on top of this ERP data instead of building a separate foundation, so that sustainability targets, sustainability KPIs are integrated into your ongoing operational KPIs. But for this, again, you need to have a kind of good digitalization journey, strong ERP structure, and also well-defined sustainability targets. This is number one. And number two, again, I'm glad that you pointed out the social aspects of sustainability, because carbon emission, waste, and social aspects are intercorrelated within each other. We observe that where in the supply chains of the corporate networks, where the most of the emissions take place, also the non-ethical business practices are taking place there. So if you have a kind of visibility on your supply chain, you can see that they have a better working conditions, and they will be emitting less carbon. They will be emitting less plastic, less waste, and you will have a kind of overall transformation. It's not a matter of companies' own transformation. You can only have an end-to-end transformation with your ecosystem. And this is why we, maybe some of you heard, we launched a data exchange platform where all the vendors, all the companies in the ecosystem can exchange various formats of data for sustainability targets. Data transparency, data exchange is the only way. Coming back to the regulations, I mean, regulation is, of course, helpful, but I mean, again, I will touch into the finance area, hoping that I won't make a mistake. But I mean, complying into IFRS won't make you a profitable company. You need to comply IFRS. But if you want to be innovative and profitable, you should understand and digest the regulations, but go beyond. Innovation usually lays much ahead of the regulation. Of course, not to comply into regulation is not an option. Every company and every institution should be complying, but again, innovation usually requires more effort than complying into the regulation. And another aspect is to understand the codes of the current cultural generation. whatever is, I mean, regardless of naming generations X, Y, Z, whatever, we know that the current vibes are expecting more transparency instead of discussions behind closed doors, requiring more inclusion instead of exclusivity, and also collaboration instead of competition. I mean, yes, competition will be there, we know this, but collaborating for sustainability targets in the pre-competitive domain is much important. And this will make all of our brands unique, collaborative, and successful. This is the only way. Coming back to your comments, Serkan Bey, about the funding and climate financing, I don't know if shall we address it now or shall we
Please, right now, right now.
Okay, so first of all, again, I noticed when I was on site in Baku about the leadership in the sustainability domain. We all can witness that after the election in US position in sustainability may not be as enthusiastic as it was before. But I see that all of a sudden, some other countries stepped up. For instance, UK, United Kingdom stepped up for the leadership in climate financing. I see many financial institutions coming from UK to be proactively engaged in this financial conversations. Of course, there is the money and the need for money, but utilizing this money with the most efficient models with the correct institutions is another aspect. And I see that UK is ramping up there. With the social aspect, we all know that next year's COP30 will be happening in Brazil. And I mean, I saw Brazilians everywhere. They already started COP30 while COP29 is going on. They brought Ronaldinho, the football star, many celebrities all over the world. And Brazil, one of the BRICS countries, ramped up here for the social leadership in the sustainability. Also in the innovation and the operations, efficiency operations, optimization, I see China, I mean, very surprisingly, is doing a strong innovation there. China Pavilion was surprisingly active there, and they are also eager to take some steps. Again, I'm happy that Turkey also officially announced the candidacy for COP31, putting our country also in a thought leadership in the sustainability conversations. I mean, there are many aspects of this leadership, and money is not the only thing that we need. Money is essential, but of course, the distribution is of this financing and adopting innovating models, adopting social models is as important as the financing itself.
Adam, that is a great point to end. We hope to host the COP event in the coming years. COP31 is in the grasp of Turkey. I hope we make it. And that is going to be big because we would really like to emphasize 4 areas in our presence and in companies' presence in this agenda. First is actually showing ESS commitment on this one. So sustainable development is one of the issues that we address at platform level. What does it mean in our modus operandi? It is we are working with all our networks, including our company's global headquarters on this issue. And that is why you were also guests of us in the previous COPs also. The aim is bringing the best of the world and taking them in Turkey so that Turkey not also implements them, but also exports best practices. So many companies of ours, we are really proud to say that, establishing and innovating their new best practices in climate change and exporting those best practices to their headquarters and to their other units. So that is good for us. The second one is thank you for this positive vibe starting from the beginning because we need it. And it is kind of easy for us because all the surveys that Yaset has been conducting, focusing on its member base, our companies are doing their share. Okay, we are optimistic because we are doing our part and we are eager to take it further level. And our companies' transformative effect on their ecosystem is sometimes more valuable than the company's operations. And since your sectors are having this transformative effect at the edge, at the utmost level, it is really happy to see the expansion of your best practices, because it is going to anyone that you touch, like digitalization, all our members are your clients. Logistics, all our members are your clients. So you're also touching them. The third one is these hub industries are really making it possible to absorb the funds. One thing that is as important as collecting the funds is actually the absorption capacity, whether you have the capacity to spend those funds in the most efficient way. And most of the financial institutions were asking for financeable projects. So let us bring the finance, but what are you going to do with this finance? So it is another thing to bring the best solutions in the access of all people who are willing to incorporate them in their practices. That is also important. And thank you very much for that also. And your practices are helping some other people to use their funds wisely by setting the bar high. So we always want to end these insights webinar series by pointing out the full half of the glass. So if I may, can I ask your final opinions about how we are doing and what are the other reasons to be optimistic about the future performance? And if I may start with Barbara, are you hopeful about the processes? And based on your implementations, there is enough hope on your side, but what we can do better, and what are the reasons to be more hopeful about the future in the climate agenda on your side?
No, I am very hopeful, and actually there are various reasons. Yeah, maybe also just a little bit referring to what Adam said. We are using data, and the funny thing is we started using it in some kind of games, you know, this word of gamification. So it was very interesting to see how to get easily colleagues on board by just, you know, setting goals to become the most energy saving branch of the month whatsoever. So I think if you see how easy it is in the end to motivate people, I think I have a lot of hope, so to say. Yeah. And also, if I see how easily you can convey ideas from different countries to the one here and there. What we do a lot is we exchange with our Austrian colleagues, but also with our CE colleagues, and we also provide them with ideas we do in Turkey. Yeah? So it's very nice. We establish some kind of like center of competences for sustainability ideas, but also comparing to where we were 2 years ago, we made a huge step. And also in the meanwhile, we have monthly sure fixes with all of our management. So we bring in ideas. And in the meanwhile, people enjoy these meetings because having sustainable projects is often really a lot of fun. Like what I just mentioned, this green boardroom idea, it's really fun. And when you go there and have the opening event and you see how many people are participating and are really happy that you do this, yeah, it motivates you for further steps. So that's why I'm really full of hope, because I think there's sure a long way to go, but we can do it.
How about you, Adam?
I mean, yeah, definitely I'm optimistic for a couple of reasons. So we had a kind of business legacy of hundreds of years, and the sustainability is a very new topic to the businesses. But for the new rising businesses, they are already built up with a sustainability and profitability perspective from day zero. Meaning that transforming a huge business with some traditional roots could be a bit challenging, but in new agile world, it's really easier to keep sustainability. Second one, I mean, sustainability we discussed has all some other aspects: carbon management, waste management, social management. But all three or other dimensions support each other. If you start to design your products and services from day zero from a responsible and sustainability perspective, then this will be a kind of a positively iterating journey for you. And third, people and communities are getting more and more into this discussion. 3-4 years ago, as Serkan Bey, you mentioned in COP26, a few people knew what it was all about outside the sustainability community. And now COP27, 28, and now it became a kind of fear of missing out. Everyone wants to be involved in this conversation. So this is good. Everyone wants to have this sustainability conversations in their daily business practices. So we can keep the optimism, but to make it realistic, we need to actionize it. And from our point of view, digitalization is the only way to actionize it.
Thank you very much for both of you. And that's a good point. COPs are really a training opportunity for our generation. And I'm also very hopeful because our kids are more aware than us than what is going on, and I'm sure that they are going to hold us responsible for our promises, and they are going to do a better job in making us fulfill those promises. And I hope that we are going to do a better job in realizing those promises than the first generation that is coming before us. So Barbara, Erdem, thank you very much for your insights and for all the good work that you are putting in this effort. And we will be continuing bringing the best of Yaset companies to the attention of everyone. And our aim is just showing that this is feasible and this is doable. So anyone who wishes to accomplish something in the green transformation, we are open for help. Our companies are open for help, and we are more happy to walk the walk with anyone who is interested. Thank you very much for your support and good luck in your future operations. And for our audience, please stay tuned with Yaset in this important area. We are going to be supporting the best regulations in Turkey. We are going to be supporting the best regulative transformations and also try to showcase the best practices of the best in the world. Thank you very much. Have a very good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.